Good evening, TEDx community. My name is Preeti Muzumdar. I wear a lot of hats. I'm an entrepreneur, an author, leadership fellow. But the most adorable of that is being the mother of a 20-year-old who constantly reminds me that life is best lived with clarity, curiosity, and a little bit of caffeine. But there's an honest confession here. I've not come here to impress you with my credentials or my achievements. I've come here to share with you something that happens after the success, after the applause, after the celebration of those 20,000 connections on LinkedIn. Because sometimes the real story starts when the applause ends. I'm also not going to sell you any mantra or model for success. I'm going to just share a story. And I'm sure most of you here might resonate, maybe not now, later, some stage of your life where you sit down quietly and think, is this it? So being a curious person, whenever I meet someone very sincere, ambitious and successful and deeply connected with their work, I am eager to ask them, what does motivate you? I'm sure all of you do that, looking at people, trying to understand what is it that actually charges them up. And let me tell you, the answer is almost 80% of the time, it's either fame or money. But sometimes we also get a bonus of passion. But what if I told you that there will come a stage in life when there's fame or money won't motivate you anymore? You've checked all the boxes, you've hit all the milestones, but there's that little voice inside you which keeps nagging you and tells you, what next? You've got all the fame, you've got all the money, what is it that you want to do next? So let me take you back to my career. When my career started I worked as a call center BPO employee, taking calls, night shifts, days deprived of sleep, and grueling voice and accent trainings. I was taught to speak in perfect British and American accent 8 hours a day and to pretend to be someone else. During that course, we had a trainer called Bindu. She was a wonderful human being and she gave us a very simple, innocent assignment. All of you describe what would be your dream Sunday morning. And all of my colleagues, they let their imagination run wild. Some wanted to fly to Paris, some wanted to win a lottery. But I just said, my dream lazy Sunday morning is hot piping idlis, dunked in sambar, and piping filter coffee with the newspaper read leisurely and lovingly. Bindu looked at me in complete disbelief. What Bindu didn't know is that for a young woman like me juggling between early adulthood, trying to pay my bills, get the next promotion in my life and a million other responsibilities, a leisurely Sunday morning breakfast was not just a dream, it was a fantasy. But today, when I turned 50, I made a promise to myself. Every morning, I sit down and enjoy my breakfast. No interruptions, no hurry, just being in the present time. So I believe that in life, everybody goes through 3 stages. Early in our life, we want to seek. We seek knowledge, we seek opportunities, we seek growth, and then skills, and then we move on to soar. We grow in our life, we progress in our life, we make a lot of money, we get a lot of popularity, the followers on the Instagram. And obviously there's a third stage. The third stage is when you have to serve. And you have to go back and return what you have gained in all your life. Now this is a model which has been advocated by a lot of scholars like Joseph Campbell in his hero's journey and Erik Erikson, a psychologist, who said that purpose should come before success and meaning should come before metrics. At age 50, something shifted. There's some chemical reaction that happens in your brain and you start to think and wonder about everything around you. I was ready to serve. And I realized that before I served everyone else, I had to serve me. But before that, during my progress or the time when I was soaring in my career, I felt success demands sacrifices. I should be the most hardworking person in the room. I should care about what other people think about me and my perception matters and therefore I should be a people's pleaser. I didn't realize that what I was compromising was not the right definition of success. Then came the shift. I wanted to move back. I wanted to move back from responsibility to joy, from validation to self-worth, and from noise to alignment. I realized that success was something that was not the problem. I wasn't burnt out or frustrated. I was really disciplined, focused, high functioning. But the problem was success had become my only identity. Like most women of my age, I had mastered to perform the success without personalizing it. I realized that competence had got me this far. But if I wanted to move to the next level, I needed consciousness. Therefore, I decided to define success in my own terms. I realized that success is not what you achieve. Those achievements of titles, the money, the bank balances, the followers, that's not success. Success is when you truly feel connected to your values, to yourself, and to your joy. So, I'm going to ask you to think about this as a takeaway from my talk. When you really feel successful, ask yourself these questions. Are you seeking applause or are you seeking alignment? Are you just, when somebody gives you a task to do, are you saying, yes, I can do it? Rather ask the question, is this truly me? Would I enjoy doing this? Are you just high functional or are you truly happy? Because my dear friends, if there is a lack of connection between what you're doing and what's inside, there is no fame, no money, no success that can fix that. So take your time, take that step, enjoy that idli with that sambar, enjoy that piping coffee, and take time to savor your own presence. Because, my dear friends, that is the true definition of success. Thank you.